back. John Macdonald here. You've made it to PS25. Again, like PS24 in the last video, we're going to be me on the motorcycle being viewed from behind with my son Lewis at the back filming, and we're going to be going from Mossmorran via Auchtertool back into Kirkcaldy on the B925, and I'm going to be talking specifically about my road positioning and really start to put it all together now. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to add a bit of bonus video in here because there's something I didn't mention in the previous video. I forgot to mention it. I talked about how you can recover within a bend if you go into a bend too fast, find yourself running wide, or if the bend's tightening up on you and coming back on you. I said that I've got level 1 recovery where I close the throttle. Now if I'm in the correct gear, the bike's going to engine brake. If I keep the lean angle the same, it's going to tighten up. That's what I call level 1. Level 2, I'll close the throttle and combine a bit of rear brake. I do use that a lot in the bike racing. It slows the bike down, and again, if I keep the lean angle the same, it tightens the bike up in the corner. 3, I'll close the throttle, use a bit of rear brake, and I'll counter steer at the same time, and that really tightens the bike up in the bend. Now that's the ways in which I recover my motorcycle in a corner. Now you don't need to do all 3 together. I could just sometimes maybe just close the throttle, that's enough. Sometimes just a little bit of rear brake with a little bit of closed throttle, that's enough. And sometimes I'll just do the counter steer and not even bother with the closed throttle and the rear brake if I know that I'm not going too fast, and I can just lean the bike a bit more. So how much I use will depend upon the situation. Now of course you don't want to find yourself in this situation by reading all the information like I've been describing, looking for the man-made, the natural features, to get an idea of what the road's going to do, looking for the road signs, the road markings, the road surface, camber, slope, elevation, the vanishing point, limit point. Really, if you're processing all that information, you really shouldn't find yourself in a situation where you're going into the bends too hot or getting caught out with the bend tightening up on you, because you should see the limit point coming back on you. And if it was over a blind crest like this, you would simply be reducing your speed because you need to stop within the distance you can see to be clear whilst remaining on your side of the road. So really what I'm trying to say here is that good planning shouldn't find yourself in that situation, but we're all human. Momentary lapses in concentration, a situation can occur, we can get ourselves maybe caught out. You need to have that ability to recover. Now I'm going to talk about trail braking and the benefits of trail braking in another video on how to do trail braking, but effectively that's what you're doing when you're dragging a bit of back brake. I always go more for the rear brake than the front. Why? Well, when you use the front brake, you pitch the weight towards the front of the motorcycle and it tends to sit up in the corner. It throws the weight towards the front and the outside, like the now. If I braked going through that corner the now with the front brake, it'd throw the weight to the front and the bike would sit up in the corner and run wide. If you close the throttle in a controlled fashion and then use a little bit of rear brake, it tends to squat the bike down and it tends to pull the bike into the corner. So that's always a lot better than a closed throttle and grabbing a handful of front brake. Okay, so there you go, a wee bit of bonus video built in there because it was something I forgot to build on the previous one. So let's look at positioning now then, back onto positioning again. I'm going to start building it all together. So the rider here, going over the crest, but you'll notice the rider's keeping a little bit more to the near side, just in case someone's come over the blind crest. The rider can see that the road's got an elevation change downhill. The sign tells it's a left followed by right. So as he gets over the crest here, you'll notice I'm moving back to the right hand side now. There's a limit point beginning to move, but don't forget Lewis at the back here. He's going to see things a little bit later than I am because I'm further in front. So the limit point is going to match, going to start moving quicker, it's going to match earlier, and it's going to move away earlier from my positioning. Notice I'm over to the right hand side here, setting up for the left hand bend to get the best possible view through. And as long as I see the surface is okay, I'm quite happy to move from near side to off side. I wouldn't do that though, moving across like that, across loose grit and gravel, or any surface that I can see where the integrity is not stable. Now again, look at this, we talked about this before, the consistent colour. You saw a few changes back there in that video there was manhole covers, etc. And you could see the change in colour. On a wet day I wouldn't go over the manhole cover at all. Didn't mind running through it on a dry day if I'm completely upright, but certainly not when it's wet, leaning over or going through them. Sign there telling us we're coming downhill now for a left hand bend going to right, and we should assume the right's immediately after it. Look at the rider again, me setting up on the right hand side here to get the best possible view through. Now pulling back to near side, left hand side to get the best possible view through. We said as well that the closer you get to a bend before the limit point begins to move, the tighter that bend is. Now look at the Shell Sure Grip down here. This is a pretty bad set of bends here. There's been a lot of accidents on this one, and that's where they put the Shell Sure Grip down to give it additional levels of grip. On the way back in, we know the other way there's a lot of road signs as well and road markings, and the council don't spend money unless they have to. Now you can see here the rider's keeping to the near side. Now notice again my position. At no point do you see my tyres on the white line on the near side, or running on the white line, or the cat's eyes. I see a lot of advanced riders trying to do really extreme forms of positioning. You've got to remember there that whilst my tyre is sat where it is, those panniers are still sticking out about another, a good 12 inches at least, maybe more, 12 to 18 inches. So you've got to factor that in as well. Notice how the rider's moving back to near side, looking across the bend, nobody overtaking him, nobody in front, nothing wrong with just nipping straight across like that. That's when we effectively use what we call series bends linking. What do I mean by that? I mean when you're making sure that the exit of one bend forms the entrance to the next bend. Look through the bends and link your bends together. So, and we've covered that and talked about that in previous videos. So here we are now coming down into Auchtertool. And look at all the surface there, look at all the different texture changes, look at the different colour changes. If okay, it's a built up area, but if I was out on a country road and I was seeing that many texture changes and colour changes, I would be taking my time. I'd be making a full assessment before I commit. So here we are, we're off again, heading into Kirkcaldy now. Nice flat level bit of ground here. The riders extend the vision, can pick up a sign on the near side here. In this case, the sign is warning them of deers. When you're on the bike, your vision's better. The camera gives a limited vision here. Look at this sign here telling us of a right-hand bend. We can see that junction on the right-hand side, near side junction on the left as well here, black and white chevrons. The rider pulling it back to the right here and then drifting back over to the near side just in case somebody comes over the blind crest, wide, like a lorry, tractor, something like that. Back on the right-hand side here, setting up, looking through the bend, going left, right and left again. Rider's happy to pull it back across there and then nip it back across here, setting up for the left-hand bend. Vision point moving away now, rider accelerating out the bend. Now the great thing about the vanishing point, limit point, is that when you're riding bends correctly, you want to reduce the speed. Generally speaking, you need to reduce the speed on the way in towards the bend so the weight's transferring towards the front. As you're driving through the bend, you have the bike under drive, under load. Remember we explained this, the bike balanced out. And then as you come out the bend, you're shifting the weight towards the back as you start to accelerate. Well, the limit point enables you to correct this, set the balance up correctly. I'm slowing at the moment with the throttle and the gears, maintaining the speed through now, and then a little open the throttle, and then obviously closing back down for this bend, maintaining my throttle position now, and now beginning to open up the throttle smoothly as I exit the bend once my vision begins to open up. So your limit point, vanishing point, is like a crystal ball then for predicting the future. It allows you to go into bends that you've never seen before, be able to determine the severity of the bend by how close you get before the limit point begins to move. And providing your vision's going away at the same rate as you're going around, it means the curvature radius and the arc is the same at that point that you're looking at than where you are just now. If it starts to come back to meet you, it means the bend's tightening up. If you do it early enough, just close the throttle down. If the point's moving away faster than the rate you're moving forward, it means the bends begin to move away from you. I personally don't really change my position from that point until I see the offside and near side separate completely. I see where the next bend's going, and then I change my position to the next appropriate. So look at the signage here, reduce speed now, right hand bend, black and white chevrons. We talked about the Shell Sure Grip before and the reasons for having the Shell Sure Grip down to give extra grip. There's been a lot of accidents. I don't know if you look at the trees there, play this video back, look at the bottom of the trees and look at all the bark that's missing off the bottom of the trees. Sadly, a lot of youngsters have lost their life on this road. This guy in the white car, he slowed right down like he was going to go to the buffalo farm. I wasn't quite sure what this guy was doing, so I had to kind of sit back from him. Now look at the tree line curving around the left, downhill section here. This is a bad bit here in the winter time. The water runs across here and it freezes. Sadly, there was youngsters from the village clipped the pavement there. The car rolled up and hit the trees up on the right hand side and they were killed. Notice Lewis and I getting out, getting past. That guy was going pretty slow, a person going pretty slow, and then notice we're back in again before the solid white line. Back over at the near side here, going over the blind crest just in case something coming another way, but again always making sure you can stop within the distance you could see to be clear. So in this video then, what I was doing there on that bike, I was using all the man-made, the natural features, the road signs, the road markings, the road surface, the camber, the slope, the elevation, the limit point, the vanishing point. I was processing all that information and feeding it into my riding plan so I could be in the right position, the right speed and the correct gear before I'm passing through those bends. And that's the technique that I'm using. Okay, hopefully that's been quite useful for you.